with me in the studio, I have Doc Mooney. Now, Doc, where do you live?
At Peoples,
At Peoples. Been there all your life?
all my life.
All
Went
your
to
life.
school there when we out of school.
I
That's
think
where
when
finished.
I think when I moved to town, that's the first thing I heard about Doc Mooney. Doc Mooney. And if you don't know him, take a good look at him, and when you see him uptown, you'll know who he is. Just, he's friendly. Just go up and tell him. Just go up there and say, I seen you on TV. Oh, and you went to school at Peoples?
Yeah.
And you're, did you, back when you went to school, was it a one room, or tell us about your school
It was
days?
a large school. At one time, we
Oh,
had the
really?
biggest school in Tippah County.
Really?
At one time, yeah. Of course, kept burning us out. Something did, you know. And it kept getting smaller and smaller till we didn't have no school.
But was it like, with classrooms and?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah, it had a basement under it.
It did?
And you get Jack Quistant was the principal there when I first time remember going to school. Jack Quistant.
Do you remember who your teachers were?
No, I don't.
Well, he's so young, I don't know why I'd remember. How old are you, Doc?
I'm 89.
89 years young, I'm telling you. That's good reason to not remember.
He'll be 90 next April.
Well, do you remember anybody you went to school with? You
Oh,
want to
yeah,
say hello
oh, yeah,
to?
they all, I've outlived about all of them. Yeah, I remember J.T. Moffitt, all the Moffitt boys, the Yateses, I don't know who else, Hubert Patrick. Of course, he's been dead for several years, you know. They come out and said we started out, we had a dormitory, you know, people would come out and board, you know, to play
really?
basketball. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, Hubert, that's the reason Hubert Patrick come.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and several others, you know.
And you, it was a big sports.
Oh,
Good.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, had a girls team.
Well.
Of course, we didn't have no gymnasium, you know, played outside all the time, you know. I remember all my sisters playing there, you know.
Really?
And one of them, she was pretty tough.
Who is your sister's, Doc?
Ruby Mizell was, and Sherman, and let's see who the other one was. Bertie. It run the West End grocery out here, you know, so many years. And I had another, Leslie.
Nice.
Yeah, married John Stark. He lived down here in Palmer for several years. And owned a good place down there, you know. But I don't know whatever will come of the place, who's got it or nothing, you know. But it was paid for at that time.
It was. Well, are any of them living? Any of your
No,
folks?
I've lived.
You're the last.
I had a sister, Bertie, that run the West End grocery over there. If she'd lived another month, she'd have been 100 years old.
Really?
Yeah, and Ruby, she was 97. She died in just a week, so they was in the nursing home up here. So. And she died just a week or two after Bertie died. Me and Chevy Jean thought that Ruby would go first, you know. But it turned around on us.
Never know.
Never know. You know,
Never know. We're just.
That's the reason you need to trust the Lord, because you don't never know.
That's right. That's right. Live every day to its fullest.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. But you went to school out at Peoples, and you lived out in that area. But how'd you get to school? Did you walk, or?
I started on the first job I ever had. I started on the NYA, $12 and a half a month, sweeping the floor, cleaning up.
12 and a half a month.
7 and a half a month, that's right.
$12.50 a month.
Well, that was a good bit of money back then.
Oh, yeah. It would buy something back then.
Now, $10 won't buy
that
no
won't pay the-
sandwich hardly.
No, that's true. But what, you swept up the floor?
Yeah, swept the floor, built fires. First job I ever had on NYA was $12.50 a month.
Well, what is the NYA?
Oh, that's something that furnished the money, you know,
Oh,
for stuff like that. You know. It-
It was a program
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
got
it's
in on.
program.
Some kind of program you got in on. Well, that is something. Well, you know, Tate's daddy talked to us about, Tate told us that his daddy talked to him about, this WPA. Did you ever work for them?
No, I don't think I ever worked for them.
It was something that the government.
Oh,
some
yeah,
kind of
they had
government
a
program.
WPA. Yeah, a lot of people worked on it, you know. But I don't recall their names right now, because I've got old. I don't
Well,
think like I used to.
Tate's daddy did that, working and they redid the square and, you know, it's
Yeah.
just work that needed to be done.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it did, I have pictures of him in this, jacket that had something, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was before my time, bud.
Yeah. Well, see,
But I've heard about it.
my granddaddy was Mac Cameron Mooney. He was an old Civil War veteran, see. And he lived with us last 19 years he lived. And I'd sit up, listen to him tell the same tales over and over. Every night, he'd tell the same tales over and over.
Oh, I'm telling you,
Yeah, that was something. That's something to remember, you know.
it is.
Keep
It is.
you from worrying about your age and everything, you know. And of course, I'm nearly 80 years old. I hope I'll make it to 100.
I believe you will. I'll tell you. This man can get in the floor and spring up like a teenager. I get in the floor, they have to bring a forklift to get me up. It's pitiful.
See, I had surgery about 6 weeks ago. I ain't as surprised as I was before I had that surgery. It's worked on me.
Well, it takes a while to get it back.
Oh, yeah, the doctor told me, he said it'd take a while. But it
I believe you can do
seems like it's
circles
awful
around
slow to me.
You can do circles around me, I'm telling you. But now, did you walk to school or rode a
I
wagon?
walked to school, but they had a school wagon.
Uh-huh.
I can remember when it'd freeze over and old man Oliver Wilbanks would get a school wagon every year, and we'd have to stop sometimes and knock the mud in the wintertime off of the wheels. See, they'd fill up with mud. It gets so heavy, the mules couldn't pull it, see. A lot of times they'd have 4 mules pulling it, see. But most of the time it's just 3. Mr. Oliver Wilbanks was our mail carrier most of the time, you know. But I did walking most of the time. I didn't ride the school wagon.
You didn't want to knock the mud off the wheels, that's what it was. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it happened on it, sure did. Yeah, it gets so heavy that 4 mules couldn't pull it, you know, and ruts would be deep as your wagon wheels, see. It was some time back then. But people live longer back then, though.
They did,
Yeah.
they did. Sometimes I think it's the stuff they put in our food. You know, the stuff you buy's got that MSG and all that kind of stuff in it.
Well, now, that could have a lot to do with it. But now, work don't hurt nobody. I worked hard all my life. I ain't never had nothing. I got a little old spot of land out there, a house. My mother and daddy gave me the land. So I built a house. I was doing carpenter work at that time, and I did carpenter. I worked with Raymond Smith for about 7 years.
You did?
Yeah, he was a good carpenter, but he couldn't do nothing on Monday. I don't know why. He had a bad day on Monday. He knew it. He always told me Monday was his bad day. But we did a lot of hard work. We had 5 of us built 25 houses 1 year.
Oh, really?
Now we worked. We didn't mess around with it. All had good carpenters, see, and a Yankee fella worked with us out here. I don't remember his name, but I remember where he lived. He had a son, and I don't remember his name. But we built a lot of houses. Some of them was churches. Yeah, some of them was churches. I remember we built Pleasant Hill Church, me and Raymond Smith did by ourselves. And we had the concrete poured one day and come back the next week. Well, we was gonna lay it off, you know, and ram. And he always had a bad day on Monday. Now he tell you he had a bad day on Monday, and he kept staying around there. And I know he needed to come around and ask me to start it off. He's laying it off, you know, and he'd come out 2 inches wrong every time. But he finally called me around there, you know, and he's just starting 2 inches off every time. But he was a good man. He was a good carpenter and a good man. Sure was.
Well, when you got to school, now you rode this wagon to school. Now you start, of course, now they start school when they're 4 years old.
Oh,
I mean, they're right on it.
Yeah.
They've got computers and.
Yeah.
I remember when if you counted on your fingers, you
Yeah.
got in trouble, and now they send a calculator home with them, do their homework. Don't get it.
I went to school with the Rogers boys, and we was buddies, and we was mean little rascals at school. I tell you the truth, we was tough little rascals, sure was. But I always thought a lot of them.
Well, when you got out of school and you got to working, did you always work local?
We worked the farm.
You worked the farm.
They didn't have no job. We cut timber for Lyman Ralph. I remember on Turner Duncan's place over there for a penny a poke. Penny a poke.
Penny a poke.
Now that was making money. We had to pull that old saw too.
Crosscut saw.
Yeah,
It wasn't like
ma'am,
it is
but
now.
we worked
Yeah.
in 35. That was in 35, and it rained a lot, you know. We never did quit when it rained. We kept working.
Whew.
It sure did.
I've seen them crosscut saws. I ain't never pulled one, but I've seen them.
I got one hanging up in my living room. Remind me of that old crosscut saw.
You look at it and say, thank the Lord, I don't have to do that no more.
Yeah, but it's not as hard as it was back then, you know, now, you know.
Well, I tell you what, now, everybody's eating up with cholesterol now, and they keep saying, well, it's the grease you cook with, and you know, really, like these older folks, they cooked with pure old hog lard. They didn't have no cholesterol, but they worked it off.
But,
I mean, they did hard labor. We go eat this stuff, and then we go sit on the couch.
yeah.
Watch TV with a remote. We don't even get up and change the
Yeah.
channel. And you know, really, I think that's just my opinion. I think it's the difference. It's not what they put in our food and it's our way of life.
Well,
Now,
that's part of it, but it is part of what they put in our food.
Now, if they gonna come rob my house, just don't take my setting place. Forget
Well,
that.
see, we didn't use nothing but lard. We killed our own hogs, and they say lard
Well,
now kill you, but
Yeah, nobody had cholesterol.
oh, no.
I think they worked. I just studied that up.
Yeah.
I think they worked it off.
Yeah, well.
Because, you know, they say exercise so we can, you know, lower your cholesterol. Well, I figured they didn't need the exercise. They got enough.
Yeah,
You ever worked in the
They didn't
field,
have no
boy?
way to go. They either rode a mule or a horse or walked. That's the only way they had to get around. And that's the good old days back then, because you didn't have to have no money. 12 cents.
Well, yeah.
Dozen eggs bring 12 cents.
You swapped them some eggs for what you needed. That's the truth.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And too, they didn't have chainsaws and combines and
no.
everything you did was done by hand. Now,
Absolutely.
I never did work in the cotton fields, but I bet about everybody else watching this did. I bet they did.
I did plenty.
I looked at one time. I've told y'all I'm not for me.
I remember my daddy, he got a school wagon one year, and that oldest brother of mine done the work. He done the driving of mules, but one day he took the bits out before he ever left home to wire the bits. And the best ball mill patch we ever had, they run right through it. But that's the best ball mill patch we ever had, and the mules destroyed it. He hit that mule on the nose with his fist. They left there.
Oh, man. Well, mules are known for sitting down when they get ready, too.
Yeah.
They just do as they please.
Yeah. I've seen them do that.
They're a little hard to handle, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are.
But now, I know, you know, what we look at now as working in the field is not what y'all did.
No.
Now, like I say, I went and I looked real close at a cotton plant one time, a cotton boll, and it looked like hard work to me.
Well, picking cotton.
Hot sun.
I never did like to pick cotton. I hated picking cotton.
Oh, and dragging that big old sack. They'd have to pay me just drag their sack.
But I could work. I had a sister, could pick 300 pounds a day, and I could pick as many rolls as she picked, and I wouldn't pick near 300 pounds.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
She could pick that cotton.
It just looks like hard work to me.
Well,
But them people didn't have
backbreaking work. It's
I
backbreaking
bet.
work.
I bet it was.
Bending over.
And they had to hoe that stuff too, didn't they?
Yeah.
I hoed the garden. I had big old water blisters all over my hands. I tell you, they worked hard.
Couldn't stand that hoeing.
Worked hard in them days. I'm telling you, they did.
My daddy always found something else for me to do if he had it, you know, keep me from hoeing. I hated hoeing. Couldn't stand it. It tore me up to have to hoe.
My mother-in-law, one time, she was going to teach me how to quilt, and I mean, within a day, she said, you know, hon, if you'll just sit over there on that couch, she said, I'll make you a quilt.
Yeah, they did.
Because I was awful.
They quilted their own quilts. They sure
They
did.
did. They did. The women, now I tell you, the men worked hard, but they didn't have no slack on them women either.
No.
They had to make their blankets
Women worked too.
tote in wood, and you had to get out and cut your wood up for the winter time. And I remember back when I first married, I had a heater made out of a cotton poison drum that some of the guys that were related to us made.
Yeah.
And that's what we heated the house with. And I had an electric stove, but it just one ring on the eye worked. And I did better to just cook on that heater.
My mother didn't
Sure
have
did.
nothing but a wood stove. When she died, she was cooking on a wood stove.
Now, Juan, that is hard because that heats that house up. That's like a heater. And in the summertime, I've seen down in Pontotoc, those folks down there still use wood stoves. You go out in the right area, and they'd have the stove out on the porch.
Yeah.
They're smarter than I was. I'm telling you. But you build up a fire in that thing, it heats that house up.
Oh, yeah. You had to
It
cut the
does.
wood, too. You had to split it.
Yes. I remember one time we was young and we had a fireplace. We didn't have no salt. We didn't have nothing. And we didn't, before I had children, and we'd go, it came a big old snow, and we was like idiots over there. We just got this old piece of a house, and it had cardboard instead of windows in some of them, and we'd go run out, and we'd gather up just old stuff that had failed, just pieces of limbs of half rotten, of course they burn up real fast. And if we needed to break them, we'd put them on against the porch and get on them and jump up and down.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. And then we'd get in and we'd get warm, and then we'd have to run out and get some more.
Oh, yeah, your floors had cracks in them. You could see
Yes,
chickens
they did.
walking on the floor.
Yes, they did.
I remember that very well.
Yes, they did. It just an old house out on a farm, and all you had was the four walls and had no insulation.
That's
or
right.
nothing.
You didn't have no ceiling.
No, it was just shelter, shelter. And but I remember propping that wood up and jumping up and down on it to break it so it would go in the fireplace.
Oh, yeah. Drag it up out of the woods, dead wood, burn it.
It just burns up fast.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It didn't last long.
And when we got in bed and finally got a warm spot, you just don't move. And you just lay there, and when come morning, you don't want to get up. That house done got cold.
I remember sleeping under 7 quilts. The old house was so open till you freeze to death. There's 3 of us sleeping in bed together.
Keep
3
each
of us.
other warm.
Yeah.
Freezing to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we lived in an old house down there one time on the Jink Crum place. It's over in Alcorn County. And it would come a wind. The owner, he bought us some wallpaper to put up with some tacks. Back in them days, they tack it up. And we tacked it up and it was so pretty. Oh, we thought we was fancy then. And it came a cold spell and that hard wind, it blowed that paper down.
Yeah, well, I imagine so.
We'd wake up and that stuff be just slumped over our faces. We'd get up and we'd tack it back up there.
That's still good old times, so.
Yes, it was.
It's-
Yes, it
you
was.
were-
We didn't have anything to fight over because
You
we
were
didn't have
not
anything.
worried about things, now, then, like you do now, 'cause it's when the boy, there's a cemetery there close to the house. It's part of the old school ground,
Mm-hmm.
and he bought it, he got it somewhere or another, and he had, brick or concrete markers, and somebody got it, and he changed it to aluminum. Somebody got in there and got every one of them. He's gonna have to get everybody to show him where they go, see? They dug up every one of them.
That is awful.
Aluminum,
Awful.
that's something else when they do
You
that.
know, we didn't have to worry about nobody stealing our stuff because we didn't
but
have
you
nothing.
better. Well, I never locked my house till this year.
You better lock it.
2 or 3 months ago,
Yeah, you better lock it.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
But-
And hope they don't break a window out.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But I can remember when if you couldn't sleep, you liable to, if it was hot, you'd just get out and sleep on the porch.
Oh, I've slept on the porch many a night.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hot, you couldn't stand it in the house. No air conditioner, no fans or nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
you had to do something to stay cool, and then you didn't stay cool sleeping on the porch.
Well, that's right. That's right. But it was more tolerable.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I tell you what, it just was a different day and age. You didn't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to, I mean, it
yeah.
wasn't a problem.
Oh, yeah, things are a lot different now than what it used to be.
If you heard something moving around in the bushes, it was probably a cow
Yeah,
or a chicken scratching around,
yeah.
fell off a roost.
yeah,
I mean, it was just a different world.
yeah, it sure
know.
was.
And now you keep everything bolted down and you're scared to stick your nose out after it gets dark.
Back then, you didn't have to worry about nothing. You could
That's
leave
true.
anything laying 100 foot from your house, nobody
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't bother. But now, they'll pick it up. They sure will.
They sure do, and they don't care that it's wore out.
No,
That's the truth. That's the
see
truth.
this metal business,
Yeah, they sell it for scrap on
or,
them.
yeah.
They do, just for scrap.
I pick up cans
don't
all
care.
the time, but I haven't ever missed any of them that I've picked up, But I know they would pick it up. I live
Oh, yeah.
not far off the road, pretty good piece off the road, right in the curve. That old curve, I've pulled a many one out the curve, and people that turns over there and wrecks there knows that curve is there.
I bet, yeah.
I never know
Yeah.
nobody to run off there and didn't know the curve was there.
Well, that's the truth. That's the truth. They go through too fast and go a skidding
Yeah,
in a flat.
speeding is what it is, and drinking is the other part.
No. I'm talking about drinking in our dry county. No.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, me. Oh, me. Well, how old were you when you got your first car?
First car, I bought an old 35 Ford car off of a Hall feller at Joe Alba Hall. It was an old 34 Ford. Didn't have brake one on it. It didn't old mechanical brakes, and it wouldn't stop it. That's the first car I ever owned. And I guess I was about 15 years old.
15. Thought you was big stuff, did
Oh,
you?
boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to drive it much for my daddy wouldn't let me.
Oh. Oh, boy.
I remember one time me and one of my brothers went to not Golden Hill, Walter Creek Church, and we rode double up there. He went to get off. We had a cedar tree in front of the house, and when he got off, that mule left, knocked me off, and drug me off further here to that clinic over yonder further.
Oh, no.
1 foot, and she was fixing to go through a barbed wire fence. Stopped just like that. Saved my life right there. I've been in some close places. I've had some bad wrecks. 18-wheeler hit me down here Blue Mountain and come across the road in front of me. I like to put my lights out.
Oh, man. Well, we're about halfway through, and we better cut to a commercial. Take to Daryl's little corner. I'm glad you stayed with us. I'm here in the studio. We're just kicking around old times with Doc Mauney, and I just thought you could just enjoy the conversation with us. And Doc, Carolyn told me that you left out a little about your school system.
Imagine I have. A lot of it, I imagine.
Oh,
Probably left out a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a mean little rascal in school.
Well, you rode a wagon to school.
Yeah.
And you told us about having to get the mud off of them.
Yeah,
But you
did.
left something out. She said you left something out.
What was it?
She's about walking to school.
Starting the fires, walking in the snow.
Oh, yeah, walking in the snow, yeah. Yeah, I have went barefooted in the snow, all right. I did that. But I learned better.
But why didn't you get frostbite? I just see you troughing through that
Well,
mud.
we was pretty tough. See,
Snow.
we didn't have much money, and we had to make a pair of shoes last us all winter, you know. In the summertime, we went barefooted. And bras, I've stuck them in little bras in my feet.
Do you know there was somebody in the shop the other day that had holes in the knees of her jeans and wanted them there.
Yeah.
You know, I remember
Oh, yeah.
when the women used to patch them holes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They first started patching them. Now they've gone to leaving them unpatched.
You know, a farmer wouldn't wear them things. They'd want them patched.
Yeah.
They'd want
Yeah,
to
right.
patch them. But now they go around with holes in their pants. And,
Yeah.
you know, and
Legs cut off short.
they do. And now I tell you what, our generation of guys wouldn't been seen in that, but they didn't care for it having a patch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be that patch is over, you do a little patch and then it'd wear out. I have seen the ladies just cover the whole inside nearly of the leg and just sew it down and patch it, you know, and just sew it to it around the edges of the holes.
But time changes everything. They like patches on them now.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. That's young folks that wear them with the holes in them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's young people.
Oh, yeah,
They wear their hair pink too, so I mean, come on.
They just hadn't had to go through what I went through.
That's the truth, that's the
I
truth.
come up, it was hard times.
Yes, it was. And when you got a pair of shoes, you took care of them.
Yeah, didn't your daddy'd spank your fanny?
Back in them days, they spanked your fanny, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they used a switch.
Don't
They
do that
didn't
no
use
more
their
either.
hand. My dad used switch on me all the time. I was mischievous.
Well, you turned
I
out
learned
though.
better. I learned a lot better.
Yeah, you turned out,
Yeah.
yeah. And, you know, a lot of it now, you're not allowed to spank those children. You know, people afraid to spank their kids, what they'll lose them. And, you know, and when they get older, they can't do nothing with them.
Well, time has changed everything, and
It has, it has.
we are still living. It's come up when it was tough time, sure enough.
It was.
Knows what it is, but the young people, they don't know what it
They
is.
don't have a clue.
No,
Don't have a clue.
no.
No, it's not like it used to be, and I'm glad it's not. I'm glad that the young people don't have it as hard as we did. I am.
Well, it don't hurt a person to work.
No, oh no, I think they'll
It's
work.
good for 'em. It's good for 'em. It teaches them discipline, everything, you know. And it's just better for 'em to work, to
But
do
you know-
something, you know, 'cause they got their mind on too many other things when they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, our trouble is now we want too much.
Yeah.
And we want to own this and own that, and I'm bad too. I bought a toaster oven the other day, and I already got a stove and an oven on it. But we want stuff,
Yeah.
and you gotta pay for that stuff. Then you gotta pay the repair on it. And some people want bigger stuff than I do. They want like new cars, and with a new car comes a new car payment.
Yes, sir.
And then you got to work to make that payment. And it never holds up till it's paid off. Then you got to repair that car. A lot of upkeep to this stuff we want.
Now, you got to do like we doing now, just not running it very much, stay at home.
Well, you can't afford to drive the car for making the payment.
No.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And the gas and the oil and,
Yeah.
sometimes this fancy stuff we want, it owns us instead of us owning it.
Oh, yeah.
And we think we have to have it.
Well, most of us gonna go get it.
Oh, yeah,
Somehow or
yeah.
another, we ain't gonna do without it.
No, we want this fancy stuff. But now, sometimes I think it controls our lives.
It does.
No, we
It-
really,
it-
I remember we lived in an old house, which I'm not wanting to go back and do it again.
No.
But we got out, like I told you, and broke up that wood and stayed fairly warm when we wasn't out getting it freezing to death. We had cardboard instead of glass in some of the windows. We finally got well off and put down a piece of a dollar store linoleum in the middle of the floor, and that kept us a little warmer. But we'd have a light bill with $6,
Oh, the price of stuff now is what's hurt us,
It is.
These people that make this, of course, they make good money,
Mm-hmm.
but it hurts us in the long run, it ain't got nothing, you see.
Well, too, these young people, they work at a factory, and a lot of them make $400 or $500 a week.
Oh,
I never made
yes.
that kind of money in my life. Some of them don't. Now, some of them
No,
don't make that kind of money.
No, no.
But then if you get laid off, you've got all this overhead. You've got the cable bill. You've got the internet. You've got all of this, the car payments, the monthly installments that keep coming whether you've got that job or not.
Yeah.
And, well, if they didn't get to work back then, of course, he was working in the woods and on the farm. If they didn't get to work, it wasn't a big deal because all you had to worry about was getting up $6 for the light bill and a month and scrap up a little groceries, and you could can most of that.
That's been years ago. You don't get no bills for $6.
That's right. That's the truth.
It's $160.
Oh,
or something.
yes. Oh, yes. But, it was a simpler day. It was a simple life,
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to like to watch that Leave It to Beaver, but I've never believed she was all prettied up like that with a pearl necklace and everything cooking. But it was a simpler day. We lived in that day.
Yeah. I remember
It was simpler.
when my daddy got a thing, we put it up on well, it was steel, when up high, it's a generator, you see, and the wind blew it. We run TV off of that for years.
Oh, really?
Sure did.
That's neat.
Absolutely.
And they used to have radios that had a battery, didn't they?
Yeah.
Somebody told me that. I ain't never seen one. I just heard about
Oh,
it.
yeah, they had batteries. They sure did. I remember we run the TV off of that. It was a car battery. It was 3 or 4 car batteries, kept it up and run our lights and our TV, Of course, that's all we had back then.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. But time has changed everything.
Yes, it
You
has.
can't
It
do
has.
nothing for a nickel no more.
No. And how old were you when you got married?
44 years
I
old.
know you got married because I see her.
44 years old.
44. 44 years old.
Married an ex-Marine.
You did. Oh, she keeps you straight, don't she?
Yes, she does. She tries to.
And how many
She does a
children?
pretty good job at it.
How many children do you have?
I had 2 children, a boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
Yeah,
Well,
my
that's a good
boy
family.
ain't never got married. He drives a truck all the time. And my daughter, she works at Ingomar School. She's a substitute teacher and substitute bus driver.
Well, you did just pretty
I
good.
got
didn't
3
you?
grandkids, 2 boys and a girl, and the girl's in between the boys.
That's
And
right.
they dandies. They love their papa.
Isn't that wonderful?
Papa let them buy with. they're good younger, so that girl is the sweetest thing at all. And all the boys are too. My oldest grandson works for, what's his name? Wild Bill.
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill. He goes to school. It's school time, and it's spare time. He worked for Wild Bill in the warehouse down there.
Oh, you
Yeah,
better explain where he works.
Well,
In the warehouse.
it's a Sherman down there. It's a Sherman. Yeah, and everybody that needs something, go in there and make him hunt you up something.
He works in the warehouse.
He's 6 foot something. He's a big boy.
He is.
Yeah, he's over 6 foot tall, and he works. Well, spare time. He told me how much he makes sometimes, but I better not tell it.
Nah. Nope. But we just, we look back at these children when they were small, and all of a sudden they've got children.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they get grown in a hurry now.
They do.
They don't stay little long.
They don't.
Well, that boy works. He likes to work. He got a S10 Chevrolet pickup. He goes back to the forge and he got his first ticket here a while back. He followed a fella through a stop sign. See, and he stopped when that other fella stopped. When that other fella went, he went too. And he was supposed to stop.
No good, yeah, that's right.
He's a good, and he learned a good lesson there.
I bet he did. Expensive.
Yeah, he's a good boy. All my grandkids is good kids.
That's good.
And go to school, go to church. They go to church.
That's great. Now, speaking of that, we're in the Christmas season.
Yeah. Right up on us.
Yes, it is. Tell us about Christmas when you were a boy.
Well, I tell you, I got an apple and an orange for Christmas. That's all I got. Till things got better, and I got to working for myself, All I remember ever getting is an apple and an orange for Christmas, because my daddy didn't have no money. He had to work, cut timber all the time. He cut a lot of timber, Your dad worked in the woods, and I followed him up, worked in the woods a lot myself, For Robert Fry, I worked haul logs to him for years. I've cut a lot of trees. I'd love to know how many trees I've ever cut. It'd be in the billions.
I bet it would.
Yeah.
I bet it would. But when you were a boy, you got an apple and an orange. Did y'all go out and cut a tree down in the woods? Or
Yes, ma'am. Sure did.
Well, tell us how you decorated it.
Well, with live fruit and stuff like that. See. That's what we used on it, live fruit. And my mother would make us a shirt sometime, underwear out of, these fertilized sacks.
Yeah,
You remember
yeah.
that?
No, I don't remember, but I've heard about it.
Boy, I wore many ones.
Oh,
Fertilized sack
I bet them things scratchy.
If they last a while, I tell you that. Because some sacks wasn't too good, it wasn't fitting them. Make underwear out of them. My mother made me a shirt once out of it. I had a good mother. She loved me, Lord. I was always weakly, and I've outlived all of them, see. You never can tell. So
Well, that's
you
right.
never know.
That's right. But as a child, you were sickly.
Yeah.
Well, you growed out of that, bud.
I was sickly, yeah, little and weak. Yeah, my daddy looked after me about my work. He wouldn't work me as hard as he would the others. See, because I was little and weak. I was sick all the time. And I had a sister could pick cotton, Ruby. I could pick 2 rows along the side of her, and I couldn't get the pounds that she'd get. She could pick 300 pounds without any trouble. And I never could, about 250, about as much as I could get.
Well, that means there's hope. If you've got a child that's sickly and sick all the time, Don't give up on that kid.
No,
Don't
can't
give up
never,
on that
can't
kid.
never tell, 'cause I've been sickly weak when I was young all the time, till I got working on NYA schoolhouse seeing. I reckon that must have helped me or something.
Uh-huh.
But,
Well, no, you've done good.
yeah,
Like I say, he was gonna get a soda out in the shop, and he got down in the floor. I thought, oh, mercy. Jump up like a teenager.
yeah, of course, I always thought a lot of my granddaddy. He was no Civil War veteran, you know. They come here from High Point, North Carolina, to see my granddaddy.
High Point,
Yeah, High Point.
North
He
Carolina.
was a Civil War veteran, and a bunch of more Moonies, T.A. Mooney's bunch, and them. They all descended of the ones that come. Uncle George Mooney, and I don't remember the rest of that now. You know.
Well, just tell us what you remember.
Could come here from High Point, North Carolina, see, and my granddad, of course, he was an old Civil War veteran, and I've sat up and hear him tell the same tales over and over every night. And he'd tell them to me every night.
You know, there's a group in town that brings to my mind the Sons of the Confederacy. They get together and talk about the war, the Civil War.
Yeah, well, they
I don't know enough of it to talk.
Well, see, my granny used to go back to Charlotte, North Carolina, see, to an old soldiers reunion, you know. And my daddy'd go with him all the time, you know. Of course, Grandpa Mooney done got old, you see. He needed somebody to go with him and look after him, see. Of course, I got a lot of kinfolk lived in North Carolina. I don't even know them. I couldn't call their names. I don't know none of them.
Well, you probably outlived them, I'll tell you.
Reckon.
Probably so.
Well, they still some up there. My oldest brother worked for Mooney Industrial Piping up there. They call them Mauneys up there. They don't call them Moonies.
Really?
Yeah, they call them Mauneys up there.
Mauneys.
Yeah, Mauney. Yeah, he
Something like that.
piped these cotton mills, you know. That's what he done. He worked for him for, I don't know how long. Worked for him a long time. Till I had to go get him, you know.
My grandmother was.
But it just stalled. But tell us about your wife. Who'd you marry?
Oh, she's mean as a snake.
Now, you know who's going to be cooking your biscuits now. Forget
No,
that.
she's a good Christian woman.
Fed her up now, he's
Been in
hungry.
the Marine Corps. She's an ex-Marine. And she's a good one. She's awful good.
Well, who was she before she married?
She was Brewer Moore's daughter.
Brewer Moore's. I think about everybody's heard of one of her sisters used to write for the paper.
Liz,
No, Patsy.
Patsy, yeah.
Patsy King
Yeah,
used
that's
to
my
write for the
sister-in-law.
paper.
That's my sister-in-law, Liz.
Lizzie Dean, yeah. But I know she wrote for the paper for years and years. And about everybody knows her. If they don't know her by sight, they know her by name, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, she's a good one. Liz is a good one, I tell you.
Yeah,
And
Pat
she
is
give
too.
you her last dollar.
I lived neighbors to Pat for years and
Yeah,
years. We
yeah.
went to church together,
Yeah.
and she's good folks. Good
Well,
folks.
They was all like my family, didn't have nothing, you know.
Uh-huh.
Of course, she's got a little half black blood in her.
You think so?
Yeah, her mother was a blind.
Oh, well.
Was a blind. She was.
Uh-huh. But she did. She lived years and years. We lived neighbors. In fact, she just recently moved out of that subdivision, hadn't she,
Yeah,
Patsy?
she moved over there with close to her son-in-law.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
That's why you missing her in the paper. She's moved out of town.
Yes, she lives. Well, you go around this side of the boom, you turn north and go. I couldn't tell you how to get back in there. I've been there, but
Back in the woods.
yeah,
In the woods.
Yes. Back in the country.
Yeah.
They never did like it out there where they was at. They never did like it.
They didn't.
No.
Well, people's right on top of them.
Yeah.
You know, you get somebody
Too
from
cold.
the country.
Too close on.
Yeah.
Back, I can remember when you slept in the summertime on the porch when it's hot. Too hot to sleep in the house. You had to sleep outside.
Yeah.
You burn up. And I remember sleeping on the 7 quilts too.
7 quilts. 7 quilts.
In wintertime.
I tell you, if you woke up in them old houses, I remember you woke up, there might be snow on the top of the top.
Oh, yes, be snow on you too.
Uh-huh.
I've had snow on me. Sure.
Yeah, a lot of folks.
You had to find them cracks, see.
And they used to heat up a rock and
Yeah,
wrap it up
carry
and
it to
put it
bed.
by your feet.
Yeah, carried to bed with you.
Yeah,
Sure did.
trying to get warm. I mean, it's
I've done
desperate.
that. I've done that. When it gets so cold, you know, my daddy used to make sorghum all the time. But he make it so thick, you stick a knife in a bucket back way years ago and carry it all over the house. There's a knife sticking in it, see. He made good sorghum. He made them thick.
Yeah. Well, tell us about those days. Did you ever work in the sorghum fields?
Yes, we planted sorghum. Strip it, everything.
How you strip that stuff?
You just go to the top, and catch the leaves and come down, strip the leaves off of it, see. Then you cut it down and you go back and cut the top out of it, top off of it, see.
Well, you know, that sounds easy doing one, but you know, all day long,
Well,
I bet that's a job.
It was work, it was work.
Yeah, I bet it is. That makes your hands. I bet that stuff gets hard after a while, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Of course, you didn't use gloves most of the time because you didn't have money to buy them. Sometimes you split your hand, you see.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes them leaves would cut your hand. So we put turpentine on it, go back to work.
Put turpentine on it.
Yeah,
I put turpentine on a lot of stuff back then, didn't they?
yeah, they sure did.
They didn't have no doctors either.
Yeah.
They just, you know, you just had to doctor people best you could
Well,
and go on.
I remember old Dr. Charlie Murray. The first doctor I ever went to was Dr. Charlie Lynn. I don't remember how old.
Whew, I'm telling you what, they used to get out and make house calls. They don't no more.
I don't know, is Lamont Richardson's wife still living?
He's
Yeah,
gotta get something.
But it just stopped.
Well, time changes everything. There's a lot of difference in when you come up and when I come up. And it's still different now.
When I never worked in the fields.
Well, I don't know you did, but you come up during the time they worked in the field.
Well, I wasn't here.
Or you what?
I wasn't here. I'm not from here.
Well,
I came in here and it was a whole different world.
yeah.
I couldn't believe that people put food in jars. I'd never seen that done. You know.
Well, that's one thing they done with Silco. We had a peach orchard, you know, and raised our own, planted our own peanuts. We got by. It was
But
pretty close
I
call.
just had never seen nothing like it, you know, and I remember several years ago, I went to Missouri and visited some of my people, and, well, you know, by then, it was my way of life. I jars I'd canned, and, you know, like we talk,
Yeah.
you know, like women talk around here, and they're like, you can?
Yeah.
Well, you did what?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and where'd you plant all the, in the yard? I mean,
And
you
if
know,
it
it's just like, what's the
wasn't
matter
cold
with you?
enough, it'll spoil too. I've seen it spoil. Sure
Yeah, if
get
you ever
too
hear
hot.
them lids pop, you have
Yeah.
to go through every one of them, find them.
Yeah.
It just, because it gets ranked real fast, doesn't it? Real fast. But it just, you know, it's just a whole different, we've got a
It's a
different
whole
way of
different-
life.
It's
And
a
I
whole
like
different
it.
world now. It's a
Yeah, I
whole-
like it here.
Yeah.
I'm happy here. I love, there ain't no place like Tippah County. No, it's just not.
Well, we got our good people in Tippah County. We got some, it ain't so hot.
Well, that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yeah,
But I like Tippah County. This is my kind of folks.
yeah.
Sure is.
If they like you, they love you. I tell you that. And they're good to you. Of course, my neighbors, I got good neighbors on all sides of me. Of course, I ain't got but just a few neighbors that's close, you know.
Uh-huh.
But they awful good to us.
Well, they're used to you. You've been there all your life.
Yeah, yeah. I sure have. We moved over there in 51.
51.
That's when power come through. See?
Uh-huh.
Electricity come through, and my daddy cried like a baby when we sold that place, that old place. Cried like
Oh,
a
I
baby.
would too. You just don't get rid of family land.
No,
No, you just don't get rid of family land. Mm-mm. No. But tell me how things has changed on your place.
well, it's more up to date, you know. I got central heat and air, stuff like that, you know.
Good.
But as far as the money, it ain't changed that much. Because I'm still a poor man. I don't draw much. And just enough.
Well, we get by.
We get by, yeah.
We got by back then. We get by now.
Yeah,
It don't
we
take. It don't take. Fancy things for us.
No, we not got nothing fancy. I got a
We
good
don't.
house, a brick home, everything. I built it myself. Paid for it when I built it. Since then, I ain't had nothing.
Well,
Much.
it just you had everything you needed.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, Lord's took care of us. We've
Yeah.
we've had everything
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah.
I can't tell myself, but I mean, we've seen some tough times, but I didn't go hungry much, and Lord took care of me.
I go to
He
church.
provides.
I go to church a good bit. I don't go regular, but we got a good pastor now. And I try to go every chance I get, you know, but sometimes you can't go.
You go to People's.
Yeah, Baptist church. I'm
Uh-huh.
a Baptist, but Baptist ain't what saves you. No way. I don't care if it's homeless or whatever. That ain't what saves you.
You're
The
right.
Lord is what saves you.
You're right. You're right.
That way, a lot of people think denomination saves you, but it don't do it.
No, it don't. It don't.
Don't do it.
No, you got to have Jesus in your heart. And you know what?
Yeah.
Really, every denomination believes that.
Yeah,
They really do. It came as a great surprise to me when I learned that.
Yeah.
When I learned that. But this has been wonderful, and I know y'all have really enjoyed this.
They have.
We've just talked and just been ourselves.
Just talk, old country talk.
Yes, we did. Y'all, we've enjoyed this hour together. Don't forget the Jeter Family Program, Saturday night at 7. Y'all stay tuned now for Ron and Dave's Gospel Hour. I do hope you'll tune us again next Monday at 7 o'clock for Daryl's Little Corner.
Net is your